afterwards, but still, the W from Thaldrun had already connected as he has caught up.
And one of the key points we've been making so often throughout these play-ins is your veterans have to stand up when you're in play-ins. Thaldrun comes down, probably calls for the gank, says, I'm coming mid, let's kill this guy at level 6.
And that's something that we didn't see from him earlier, because remember, he was in a matchup, Galio versus Maokai, where he got pushed under his turret. His turret was half HP. It's like, why isn't this Galio shoving out the Maokai, or at least clearing and kind of handshaking on waves, and then going to look for like an ulti mid or something, or some type of engage, or trying to blow flashes in other lanes. So Thaldrun much more active this game on this Maokai.
20 CS advantage though for Rampage in that bottom lane. Yutori Mayashi and Dara doing a great job down here as they continue to force back Padden. Not quite got his flash up, it's about a third of the cooldown remaining on that, but there is an exhaust for Japón, so if they do get aggressed upon, they should be able to keep themselves safe, especially with that level 6 wild growth from the Lulu.
Since this bottom lane doesn't win for Fenerbahçe, and it wins with the aggression now because the summoner spells being down for Padden, getting control of this Infernal Drake for 1907 really relies on Frozen in the mid lane, and that's kind of where you want to play as the junglers. More towards that mid lane here, since your mid laner's winning, since he has a CS advantage, you've got the jungler's other flash early on. You can start going for things like this, where you can start setting up roams and trying to get something like that Infernal Drake and freeing up your bottom side.
You're saying that Crash should gank mid lane on 1907 Fenerbahçe?
I'm saying he probably shouldn't go bottom, and instead he should go mid, because then him and Frozen can team up and free up bottom, because I don't think this bottom lane is in a fantastic position right now. And Thaldrun, again, ulti's back up.
I've seen this story before, but Crash is not in the right position to be able to capitalize on it if they do go any deeper. Frozen not with his blue buff. Ramune has his own. And now this is what you want to see a bit more from Evie as well. If Thaldrun's going to continually roam away, you need to aggress on him as he comes back. You need to chunk him down.
Yeah, still just getting denied some minions is mostly what happens here. Thaldrun not to get back, and now Crash is going to help them get it back. So in this matchup, this is just the jungler running through the lane and just being like, all right, I let you get it back, timer, because otherwise it would have been favorable for Rampage, because they have so much gold to spend. This is the only lane that hasn't been able to back and spend their gold yet.
Look at that, 3,000 gold on Yutori Mayashi, 2,500 on Padden. That's a pretty impressive amount of gold to be able to spend on your first back. Zerka's pickaxe and double dagger, just to add as much attack speed as possible. It's almost an ardent sensor for Japón, not quite able to get the combination cost of that item.
Yep, nothing just yet, whereas Yutori Moyashi, we'll see what happens here with his back.
Is there an argument just to rush and like an IE here?
I don't think he has enough gold. He'll be able to get like the boots and like the pickaxe and the BF sword. And I guess that's just it. Doesn't have too much more on top of that. So we could have had the... Actually, he may have been able to afford it.
I can't do maths that quickly at this time of night. Evie's going to jump away from Thaldrun up towards this top side. Thaldrun chucks a little bit of Fenerbahçe spirit out there as Evie answers with some Rampage of his own. Infernal Drake does go to Fenerbahçe, though, as they got control of the bottom lane due to the back timer of Yutori Moyashi. And now 1907 do have that early lead. Infernal Drake, a kill, about 300 gold ahead.
Yeah, and I was just looking at it. Yeah, he was like 10 gold away from being able to full buy an Infinity Edge, but wanted the boots too instead. That's totally fine. It's just a preference there, because he doesn't want to get chased down. Because if you don't have boots, and then you're up against a Kog'Maw that has boots and a Lulu, if you misstep, you could probably just get run down by these guys. So you don't want that to happen. You don't want this lane to kind of rubber band back on you. And so he doesn't go for the Infinity Edge, which would have left him with no boots, not even the first one.
Haven't really seen Tussle utilize this Rek'Sai early on. It has been positioning towards mid at times, and we're actually seeing Dara get a flank off onto Crash. Tussle's on his way as well. We'll look for the engage. There's a knock-up, double knock, back towards Crash, but Crash just
Tussle ulti!
Tussle ulti's underneath the turret. The explosive cast, the kill as well with the unleashed power. Fenerbahçe get their second kill on the board.
Got pulled in by Crash there, who blew the flash and pulled him all the way under as a full HP Tussle, but then he just gets body slammed. Believe he ended up having the interrupt there on his tunnels. It looked like he was trying to get away.
Great play by Crash and good combination with Frozen as well, who was there to pick up the kill, has the Sorcerer's Boots and is looking towards that Morello Nomicon. Let's have another look at this, because I believe the tunnel comes underneath.
Yeah, it was early on that he used the tunnel. And then when he comes out, it's just the body slam. after. So that's what it was. It was the body slam with the, the explosive cask, and then it was the scatter the weak, which made it look like he went back and then forward.
Like a ping pong ball in the mid lane.
But like I said with the Rek'Sai, this is a champion that you gotta have some type of tempo. If you start losing that, it's like, all right, this champion does not feel good to be playing right now, especially into things like the Gragas and trying to reach this Syndra. It's gonna be really difficult since he wasn't able to exploit the early part of the game.
Evie trading onto Thorgren in the mid lane. When you go into Mega Gnar, you get an ability to trade relatively effectively, but Thorgren will just continue to harass back. Sap Magic passive, of course, on the Maokai gives you a lot of health back in this matchup as well. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, we still see that turret being pressured. There could be first tower blood down towards this bottom side. We said top and bot lanes are going to lose for Fenerbahçe. Rampage will be able to get the advantage. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, that's where we've seen 1907 Fenerbahçe put their pressure.
Yeah, but there's also a package now for Ramune, so he's looking to roam, looking to maybe get this bottom turret. And you have to have people show up and be in attendance here. This Crash will hang around this area, and you can see Ramune cares more about his positioning here and the killing out those wards.
To just use the package to get back into the lane to clear it out. I was expecting a roll call in the bottom lane. School was in session. Had to mark off the attendance, but Ramune decided he wanted to bunk off school today, taking a little bit of a break, maybe going camping with your father.
Nope.
The Gnar knocks back. It's just like, nope. Not gonna happen today.
I don't know if this is set up for another joke.
Nope. Just referencing back. You've got to elude sometimes.
Please stop.
And elude Evie as Thorgren is kept in the lane. Evie's almost up towards that back cleaver.
Bottom side, 2 people roaming down. This could be a tower dive. You do have the Gragas with the body slam and the ultimate.
Immediately, Yutori, Mayashi, and Dara back away, but we're starting to see that pressure from Padden that does happen on the Kog'Maw. You pop that Bio Arcane Barrage, and you can put a lot of damage down very quickly, especially with the Lulu buffing you up.
Yeah. He just walks forward with that extra movement speed. And then it really would become Dara. In order to stop that, he'd have to go in, headbutt, pulverize. And then at that point, you're putting yourself more at risk for that gank. So you just book it out of there, back, lose some CS to the turret. And Thorgren.
And a Sap Magic, try and get some health back. Pops down the Nature's Grasp as well, but it's a good dive from Rampage. As Tussle gets his first assist on the board, and Rampage get their first kill of the game.
And Crash is just looking to get to that turret so it doesn't drop. But there's enough of a forcing unit here. You may have to pull Frozen up to the top side too. But Dara is just holding mid.
If you're a support in that situation, you are so happy. Because you know you're going to get all of those CS. Oh no, you're not, because they got into tower. Oh, you saw 200 gold just disappear before your eyes.
Does that make
very sad cow. He's morose now.
Oh my god. You're worse than Freak. That's not a compliment, by the way.
Well, yeah, worse usually isn't. Just the excitement of Worlds. It's getting to me, Zomi.
I gotcha.
1,000 gold lead for Fenerbahçe as they continue to get this mid lane pressure. And they've got Ardent Sensor on the Lulu now as well, so Padden is going to be in a strong position. Only 20 CS down at the 17-minute mark after losing out that lane pretty early on.
And now they're going to swap it. Because this turret on top side is really low and also the one on bottom, you got to find something that may crack a turret faster, and you may be able to get an advantage. No, actually, they're just going to swap it again, so it looked like some hesitation there. Maybe they thought that because Evie was pushing, I don't know. Because they saw Tristana and Alistar killing those Krugs with the ward that was placed earlier. I guess they just answer here, and it might have been a call from Crash that, hey, I'll help you guys out, because he's on this side of the map.
Down towards that bottom side, is spotted out by a ward, but he will clear that. Rift Herald has been started by Tussle and Evie. There's a Dragon up, it's only a Cloud. Infernal, of course, picked up earlier by Fenerbahçe. 300 gold between the two teams, very even early on. The scaling advantage seems to be in favor of Fenerbahçe with the Kog'Maw and the Lulu combo.
Yeah, you always have to worry a little bit, though, about what happens with this Gnar in terms of split push and pressure. And then the Tristana, can you reach him? Because this may be a point where you really have to rely on Padden for a lot of that damage. But the front line, like you were saying, it's pretty good for Fenerbahçe. I would definitely say it's easier to execute in the late game for Fenerbahçe.
And sometimes that's what these games come down to. It's which team can pull off their composition easier. Is it just a composition where you run at the enemy? Yes, that can work.
Yep. Now we're looking for a turret race. Tussle on top with Evie. They've already dove this guy once. They're trying to get that turret. And meanwhile, bottom, they're just trying to get that damage on it as well.
The Thaldron flashed away there. Turret will go down in the top side first, so Rampage gets a little bit extra gold out of that. Still slightly behind, just CS advantages being picked up for Fenerbahçe. Just some extra gold from somewhere.
Yeah, more tempo though, and with more members here on the bottom side. And now they have Syndra coming down too. This will be a 4-on-2.
There's so much damage coming out from Padden. 2.2 attack speed at
Frozen.
18 minutes. Frozen's going to get onto Yuto Mayashi, but doesn't have the damage.
Stun.
The knockback, the heal. He does get the kill. That's the reason he is the person to watch in this team. Frozen comes up big, gets them a tower in the bottom lane, and they're going to keep pushing.
They're going to keep going, exactly. They're going to look for this turret, potentially an inhibitor on top of it, because Rek'Sai's in mid, not going to be able to push that turret. He's thinking about it. He wasn't back in there. He's throwing down Rift Herald. That's what it is he's trying to get that turret back. And nope, they're going to back off after that, because they need to go answer.
I'm having flashbacks to the last game. 20 minutes, almost an inhibitor falling. Join us in 32 minutes as this game will conclude. Tussle is able to get the mid lane tower. Rampage trying to get something back, and that's what you see good teams do. If they know they're losing out on one side of the map, they try and get any advantage they can on the other. But Fenerbahçe, with a great push in bot, secure themselves 3 turrets.
Once again, came down to mid lane priority. Frozen had mid lane priority, came down to the bottom side, and then he was able to make that play happen and get those 2 kills. Whereas Thaldron here,
No
pushed it
flat
mid.
for him. Tussle's on the chase, but he does manage to
heal.
jump away the sap magic, but there's the Narm into the wall. Evie gets a kill for himself. It's 2 for Rampage overall, but Evie is just getting absolutely shredded by Padden. The engage from Crass. Rampage have to flash away. And Fenerbahçe are in the driver's seat in this game.
And now they have a little bit more pressure on this mid lane. Padden has been able to pick up a good amount of CS. He's only 10 down now. And with people are backing here, this might be another turret for Fenerbahçe.
4 towers at the 20-minute mark. This is much quicker from them. Liking the acceleration they have. We said it earlier on, when they get ahead, they don't let go. And that's exactly what we're seeing from 1907 Fenerbahçe.
Yeah, they just play around mid a little bit better there with Frozen and the early ganks that went his way. And the fact they were able to shut down Ramune allows him to play towards the bottom side and get this dive. You can see here, Crash, really aggressive. That was a great ulti there from Japone to knock up Dara as he was headbutting in. And then Frozen, really since the rocket jump was down, just gets a disgusting combo.
Really well played by Frozen as well. That's the reason that he was a mid laner for Longzhu. It's the reason that they wanted to set up a team around him. Thaldron does get caught out a little bit here, perhaps just pushed up a bit too far.
But he lives long enough to pull them in, and then that's what ends up allowing Padden to get this kill back onto Evie, because Evie blows the flash forward after leaping previously, and now you get to run down.
Padden with the Ginsu's now has a Runans on top of it. 21 minutes in, you've got an Ardent Sensor, Runans, Ginsu's Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
That is pretty darn disgusting to face up against.
Yeah, and we're talking about things that are disgusting to face up against. Frozen has gone from Morel and Nomicon, Sork Shoes, Void Staff. This is typically like a third purchase. You'll usually see like a Leandri's or something, but he's just saying, I want to be able to obliterate people. There's a little bit of MR that's been purchased with the boots and the Hex Drinker. We're just going to try to get in there and blow these guys up. So look at Frozen to try and snowball now that he's acquired this lead.
Crash getting forced back by Tussle. Padden gets a little bit of chunk down onto the tower, but not going to be able to finish it yet. Yutori Moyashi on the other side does have an Infinity Edge. His Frozen. Tussle goes down to half. Dama, another great wild growth. Japone is showing us exactly how to beat an Alistair on this Lulu. They do lose 1 though, and now we're going to see Rampage continue the chase. Voidooz comes out, slows them up. And Rampage will not be able to get anything more out of this.
Well, Rampage, no, there's no teleport on the Maokai from before, and this is a 3v5 for a bit until he runs up here. Starting up the Baron, that's questionable. But wait, Frozen took a blast cone.
Frozen got caught out. Ramune gets the kill, and now Rampage are right back in this game. 1,000 gold between the 2 teams, and this is where you start up the Baron. Padden and Japone still alive. Exhaust up on the support. Heal, flash on the Kog'Maw as well.
And Evie's about to transform. This is exactly where you want to be with the Mega Gnar. I feel like if you can see this, whoa, he smited for HP. They're not actually doing it. They just want to fight.
Can't quite get the wallop. Here's the Nature's Grasp as well from Thaldron.
The room!
Padden with a huge amount of deep, but there's the knockup. Padden still going through. It's a double, it's a triple. He's going to get the quadra as well as the Alistair falls. He's having beef for dinner tonight.
They're going to give him the
is there, trying to jump across the wall. Thaldron with the chase. Padden can't quite get it. The knockdown onto Ramune. There's the root. There's the Penta. Kog'Maw for Fenerbahçe.
If you're going to remember anything about Padden, erase the brain. put this in there. That pentakill, 3v5 in the Baron Pit. Thaldrin with the glorious Nature's Grasp. That is what you want to see from a team captain.
Superb play by Fenerbahçe. Japon as well, so instrumental on that Lulu pick. And this is why people tout them as the best in Group D. This is why they're looking to go 2-0 today.
And they just have such a lead now after that. That was Frozen dropping the ball, getting caught after the blast cone. And even before that, the catch-on crashed. So this was able to remedy all of that and put it back in Fenerbahçe's favor when there were some misplays there. But this was disgusting. This was Frozen. Yeah, the blast cone, that's a mistake. They're able to pick him up. Crash is already dead. 3v5, you start this up, but Thaldrin had already started walking up. His teleport, I believe, was not up at this point. It does appear at the bottom, but I don't believe it was. So he walks up, but his placement here of the ultimate, and the fact he keeps his distance, he casts it now, and it starts going. And then everybody says, all right, time to go up, but the range on it, as they turn the corner, as they're almost there at padded, he's kiting back perfectly, and when the headbutt pulverize from Dara comes in, the slam from Thaldrin stops it, and that ends up being a fantastic pentakill here from Padden. They give him Padden the stats.
They Japoned the enemy team there. They took that penta at the end. And personally, I doubted Padden and Japon. They're now pushing for this inhibitor in the mid lane. Look at the damage in that last fight. 6,500 on a Kog'Maw. That is dirty, dirty stuff from Fenerbahçe as they look to close out this game. A 9,000 gold lead, 25 minutes in. This is more dominant than we saw Fnatic. This is more dominant than we saw Team WE. This is Fenerbahçe.
Something that we missed during the replay is Frozen was able to destroy Evi, and that's what allowed them to push up that mid lane without much contest.
Just incredible stuff all around. Rampage wondering where their lead went, wondering where their early game went, wondering where their Tristana went. She's facing up against a 7-0-0 Kog'Maw.
Yeah, a full item up, by the way. Now he has the most gold in the game, and he has 3,000 gold more than anybody on the side of Rampage.
I love this build as well. I really like getting the Frozen Mallet when you're this far ahead, because you get that extra tankiness. If someone gets onto you, you just shred through them, and they're not going to kill you quickly.
Exactly. How do you lose this game? Padden dies. How do you stop that? Frozen Mallet. So I like it here. Some people go for the wit's end, but he just wanted this to kite back. And now it's going to be even harder to shut him down, and that's how you make that snowball happen even further. He's caught. Let's see what happens.
There's the wild growth, but Evi gets shredded down. That's a legendary Kog'Maw, and now Padden's just opening up the big guns. He's going to get onto Tussle as well. It's a double, looking for his second penta of the game.
Oh my God.
But Ramune and Yutori Mayashi are not going to give it up.
Get in the fountain. Get in the fountain, boys.
Rampage once again on the end of a devastating loss. They lost earlier on, and now it looks like Fenerbahçe are going to take them down. Only 26 minutes in, the Nexus towers are falling.
You can see they're just trying to take care of business here. Make it fast, Padden. Walk it forward, but that's going to be the next. That is so quick.
What an impressive performance from Fenerbahçe, and what an impressive performance from their bottom lane as well. Padden trying to get on towards the founding, but that is the Nexus, and that's Fenerbahçe going 2-0 up.
And ending the first day at 2-0 at the top of Group D. This group was up in the air. We had some people saying Rampage, some people saying HKA, and others, the whispers, 1907 Fenerbahçe, are now shouts.
They'll be screaming their name right now. Incredible performance by them. Of course, commiserations to Rampage, who are looking like they're going to be the third seed in their group. They're going to get placed last. They obviously still have 2 games to try and fight back, and if they do manage that, they can definitely challenge. Just haven't seen enough out of them to put them up with Fenerbahçe and with Hong Kong attitude.
And this is what you wanted to see from Fenerbahçe, because their match against HKA, you could see the vision control, you could see how they were playing around mid, but there were still those issues of, okay, we don't see them being convincing versus HKA. It looked like a compositional difference where HKA didn't have enough engage, and then you see for Fenerbahçe now, fast game, 26, almost 27 minutes, and that was a decimation. It's different type than the one that you saw from the almost perfect game of HKA versus Rampage, but this one was methodical once they got the lead. There were some hiccups, But really, everybody, when somebody dropped the ball, somebody else was there to pick it right up.
And it's the adaptation that I really like as well. We said we wanted to see more from Thaldrin. He ganked mid really early on.
Yes.
We wanted to see more from Crash as well. He was able to set up his bottom lane. And then you get Padden, who really comes from nowhere and gets 10 kills by the end of the game.
Yeah, he's 10-0-0 at the end of the game. In his previous game, he was like 7-1-7.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is putting up incredible score lines. His laning phase is the one thing that people have been criticizing, and they've been circumventing.